9072, and still taken apart from after we finished the ditch run. So we're gonna go down below and start unpacking this thing and start getting ready for the next round of upgrades. All right, here we are down below on our mini Transat number 72 Rogue, and she's still all packed up and everything from when we finished up the Delta ditch run. You can see here's dagger boards are all stacked here. We got all the sails all packed, ready to go. And on the side we got the boom, the bowsprit. But yeah, so got to unpack this thing, get everything out of it because it's going to get dirty down here. We got a lot of sanding to do. Here's the plan, and I'll go over here in the shop with you guys. But basically what we're doing, if you look here, there's the original chain plate location, which is about a 1.5 feet, maybe less, actually less than that, from in line with the actual mast. And what we're doing is we're going to install our new bulk, or our new chain plate. So here's one of our new chain plates that I just built. It's all built up there. My buddy Dave Cognon from RevChem helped me build these things up. And these guys are gonna go and get mounted on this bulkhead right up here. So you can see where we got it kind of sketched out. You can see sketched out all this is gonna get sanded, and then this guy's gonna get cut up through the deck up there and bonded in. And we're gonna bond it in, then we're gonna vacuum bag a bunch of carbon over it, and then so that Luther, my co-skipper, can sleep at night, we're gonna throw some bolts through it as well. And that's what we're gonna do with that, is now we can have some swept back spreaders and rake the rig back so that the headstay will be supported at all times without having to use the running back, so that we can tack faster upwind and make this boat more of a bay boat, but still more reliable as well for when we're going offshore, short-handed as well, so that getting the running backs on is not as much of a near-death experience, as we'll call it. But yeah, so here's down below on the Rogue. Everything's still kind of put away, and it's not as roomy as the new ones you can see down here. But you know, the bunks are filled with sails. And yeah, here's our keel behind us, just hanging out. And yeah, so we're gonna start sanding and prepping and getting this boat ready for the next race, which is gonna be next month. We're gonna do the Great Vallejo race, so that should be a fun one because it's all downwind, and it'll be over before we know it because it's not that long of a downwind for us, at least. But yeah, sail downwind, and then the next day turn around and bash back upwind. So the downwind part will be fun. The bash back upwind, it's not fun in this boat. This boat does not like the upwind, especially when it's blowing 25 plus with our lovely ebb chop we get around here. But it's all good. We'll take us back outside. Ooh. Back outside. You can see it's beautiful Berkeley. It's already blown probably 18 or so. And it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. It's this time of year. Got the marine layer going, and come 1 o'clock it'll be blowing 25 to 30 at least, because it is July and it is the Berkeley Circle. All right, back here at the shop. Let's take a look inside and see what we got going on as far as the upgrades for the Mini. Inside. All right, so first of all, I'll show you this. This is pretty cool. This is actually all of our standing rigging and spreaders for the Mini. We just haven't put them back on the mast yet because we're gonna do all the upgrades. So, and we're gonna be getting rid of a couple of these spreaders. So I'm just gonna have 2 sets of spreaders. We're gonna reuse the lower ones, which are the long ones there. Those are gonna be the new upper spreaders, and then we're gonna make some new lower spreaders. And so check it out. This is from Dragonplay. You can get it on there, and this is it's an airfoil section of carbon tubing. It's a little flimsy right now, but then what we do is we lay it up to the strength that we need, and Makes it nice and bomb-proof, just like these guys that we had already made out of the same material. So there's that. And then I'll take you over here and kind of go over some quick drawings on what our upgrades are going to be for the rig on the Rogue 72. But yeah, there's our chain plates. Let's take a look. Here we go. So I'm just going to diagram out what is exactly going on. So right now we have a triple spreader rig. So if we take a look, I'm just going to draw the boat, just a really simple boat. Here's our mast, super tall mast. Our mast from the step down here to the top is just about 48 feet, just over 48 feet. All right. So, and right now we've got spreader here, and then a little spreader up here. So boom, 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 boom. So that's essentially what we've got going on here. All right, so that is our existing, if you're looking at the bow or the stern, this is what our boat, our rig looks like right now. So from the front profile, what we're gonna do here, we'll draw the boat again. We got that there, the mast, go up here again. And what we're doing is we're actually gonna go with spreaders that are longer. They go all the way to the outboard edge of the boat here. And then we're just gonna have 2 spreaders. All right, boom. Still have our D1s. These are D1s, D2s. And here's our V1s. And then they're gonna go here, and then we'll actually split them here, and that way we can support the middle of the mast right there as well. All right, so it's a little bit simple, a little bit more simplified, and also what this does is by eliminating this third spreader up here is that it actually clears out for the spinnaker so that it's not hanging up on those spreaders, as well as the code 0 tends to, when we're sheeted in tight with the code 0, it tends to hook on that upper spreader. So we're going to eliminate that. So that's the front view or the back view of what we're doing. So here, I'll show you guys the side profile. So just draw a quick boat here. Like we'll put 72 right there. Boom. There's our rudders. Check, check. Okay, so right now we've got our mast, and our mast has it's perfectly straight up. We've tried to rake it given the existing setup and the existing chain plates. The chain plates are about 1.5 feet aft of the partners here of the mast. And then we've got just a slight bit of sweep in the spreaders. Just a slight sweep. And so what we've got here, sorry, and then draw this out. V1s, V2s, V3s, and then it goes here. D2s, or sorry, that's the D3s, D1s. All right, so that's what we've got there. That's how our mast is supported right now. So part of the problem is that there's not that much distance between here and there. So when sailing upwind like this, there's not good triangulation here from the forestay to the shrouds. And so what happens is that the mast wants to go forward, and that's why we've got running backstays that go all the way to the top. And we got another check stay that goes in right to the hounds there, the head stay, and then another check stay that goes in here in the middle. So that's how the mast is supported. So these guys, the running backs and check stays, are what gives the head stay tension. So if you don't have the running backs and check stays on, they're all tied together here. But if you don't have them on, then your head stay will sag and your rig will actually go forward. So on big boats, it's no big deal. You've got a guy whose job is just to be the runners. Hello. All right, you got the guy back here, and then you got a whole bunch of other people here to do all the other jobs. Well, this is a mini transat, and so this boat was built to go single-handed across the Atlantic. Our boat, we got 2 of us here. It's Luther and I. Luther's driving. I'm doing
everything else up here. He's doing the running backs, and one of the problems you have here in San Francisco Bay is that the bay is really, really small on a boat that's this fast and overpowered. So when it comes to tacking, which we have to do a ton of tacking inside the bay, we have to pull the running backs on to be able to pull off the tack, and we have to pull it on quickly, because if we don't get the running backs on quick, then the head stay sags and we don't power out of our tacks, and which is not good in the big steep chop that we have here on the bay, especially when it's blowing 35. So that's a problem, and it gets a little bit exciting, and sometimes we get frowny faces when we don't get the running backs on, and you can have a really big frowny face if you don't get the running backs on at all, because then the rig will go forward and probably break right there. So it's not a reliable way to have the rig set up for sailing in and around the bay around here. It's great for going offshore when you're only tacking, you know, every few hours or every day or something like that. That's fine. But around here, it's not gonna work for us. So here's the plan. We got our boat. All right, plane. All right, we got 72 here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to put some more rake in the mast. We're actually only gonna move the mast butt forward about 2 inches, 2-3 inches. But what we're doing is we're actually moving the chain plate aft. And here's what the chain plate is right here. We just finished building them up. It's a Kusa board, which is like a compressed foam and fiberglass sort of sandwich there. And it's a really dense material, which is really good for laying up chain plates over. It's really good for decks on boats and stuff like that. But we use it for our chain plates on this project, and got a titanium tube here so that it gets along well with the carbon better than other metals. So we got titanium tube there, and then you got these 2 spots there. So one will be for the uppers and one will be for the lowers going there. And so that's that guy, and you can see the layers upon layers upon layers of carbon that we bagged over this thing. So these things are bomb proof, and they're gonna get bolted in to our bulkheads in the boat. So there's where that is. You can picture that like that, sitting like there. And now what we're doing is, since if you guys remember our first drawing here, we're going with this guy here. We're going with the double spreader rig, and we're gonna do a big sweep in the spreaders. So we're doing a big sweep, longer spreaders, and so you've got shrouds going here and then going to the helms, and what that does is that gives you a nice stable platform to keep your headstay tension on at all times, so that we don't lose headstay tension. And then we still have our running backs and check stays, but they're going to be there to help support the mast when the big ginormous kite is up, and then also help fine-tune with the headstay tension. But right now, the running backs are not as crucial for upwind, so that we can get more tacks in when we're short tacking up the city front, like they have us do in a lot of the short-handed long distance races here in the bay. So that's the plan. So we're gonna install these new chain plates. We're gonna make a new mast step, composite mast step that's gonna go further forward up here. Headstay is going to get a little bit lengthened, and then obviously we're making all new standing rigging. But the beauty is that it's all Dyneema, and we can resplice some of the old stuff, and then and go from there. But yeah, this is the plan, and yeah, we're going to start executing it right now. All right, here we are down below in the mini transat, and we just finished bagging the starboard side chain plate into the hull. Got a whole bunch of layers of carbon in there, and yeah, so we're just waiting for it to kick off. All right, here we go. We're just about to close the bag. Everything's all laid up. We got our bleeder cloth, peel plies on. So about to put the bag on and start vacuuming. So it's both spreaders are in there, and yeah.
stoked so far. Let's see how it goes.
All right, you can hear it. The vacuum pump is going. We had a really, really good bag. So I had to poke a bunch of holes in it because it's actually crushing the tube underneath. And so I put a couple holes just so that I'd regulate the pressure just a little bit. This is the same thing I had to do with the upper set of spreaders that I have already built and used on the boat. So, yep. So far so good. Everything's looking really good and properly wetted out. And yeah, a couple hours, we'll peel this thing out. All right, after some rustling, my son Thomas and I were able to peel off most of the peel ply and breather cloth. And so it turned out pretty good. We got a few little wrinkles that we got to sand out, but this area will get trimmed out and these guys will get nice and sanded nice and beautifully, and get some paint on them and get them on the boat. Here we are. Just finished trimming and sanding these spreaders down. So they've come a long way in just a little bit of time. Got them all sanded down and getting ready to do some coat of epoxy primer. And then we'll paint them hopefully tomorrow. Some nice bright international orange to match the rest of the boat. So you can see how thick we got it built up. Pretty substantial. So yeah, these guys are basically, we could put them on, drill some holes for the pins and put the through bars on. But yeah, we're gonna epoxy coat them and get some paint on them, make them look pretty. All right, so stay tuned. All right, here we are in the paint booth. Just got a couple of coats of paint on, top coat on there to match the rest of the boat. Turned out pretty good. So stoked. All right, next thing, make some spreader bars for them and get them on the mast and start putting the mast back together. All right, here we are back at the yard, and you can see got the spreaders on the rig, and we're just test fitting the standing rigging right now. And I just drilled the holes. Where am I? Drilled the holes in our new spreader bars that I just built. And so now we're just gonna permanently put them in and make sure all the running rigging's running right and hook up the rest of the standard. Here's the top of the rig here. And now we've gone from a triple spreader rig to a double spreader rig. So pretty excited. That's the fun part about having your own rig shop and be able to do composite work and having Dyneema standing rigging. So here we are. So there used to be a spreader right here, and then this spreader was only about that long, and the next spreader down was about that long. So now wider spreader base, swept back spreaders. So yeah, we can actually have some head stay tension without having to have the running backs on all the time. So good stuff. All right, rig's all put together and ready to be stepped tomorrow. Just got to do a few more things on the boat to get it ready. But yeah, we're all set. You can see the new spreader. So those are the old spreaders, and then I made the new lower spreaders down there. So and like I said before, the original upper spreaders are about like this, came to about here. And so now they go all the way out, get us a wider shroud base, get the more stability in the mast, and that way we can eliminate. We used to have a second set of spreaders that popped out, yeah, right there. Came out to about there, and so we're trying to eliminate that so that it doesn't interfere with our code 0, because this blue halyard is our code 0, a fractional code 0 halyard, and the top of the code 0 was hitting there, and that we wanted to be able to have a little bit different cut on the jib. So with some sweep in the spreaders, we can get a little bigger jib down low, because right now we've got a pretty high aspect jib. So we're getting that switched up, a new one from UK here, once we get the rig back on the boat and we'll measure it up. But yeah, here's the rig in all of its glory. We got our light speed rigging carbon head stay. Just pin that up and put about $250,000 worth of millionaire tape here on the head stay fitting so we don't snag our halyard. Like you can see, I did that. So we got a new halyard that's gonna go in once the mast goes in. And let's see what else. Yeah. Here's our spreader tips. Got the pin going through here and the splices in there, and then I just did a little bit of lashing there, just an extra security in there. And then this is our little webbing to keep the spinnaker from getting wedged in here. Did the same thing up there as well, but yeah, otherwise this is our rig. It's what, 49.5 feet long on a 21-foot boat, so pretty substantial rig. And now we got a pretty substantial rig. I think the old spreaders are probably raked to about right here at the end of my finger, so basically in-line spreaders is what they were, and the chain plates were in line. So the new chain plates are aft, about just under 2 feet, so give us plenty of sweep to support our head stay. So stand by for when we step the rig tomorrow. All right, mast is back in the boat, upgraded. We got swept back spreaders now. Check this beauty. We'll have to go up there and do some fine tuning up there once we get everything tensioned up, once the boat gets back in the water. But so far so good. Very stoked with how it turned out. And here we are, chain plates. Just temporarily lashed off right now until we get everything nice and tensioned up. But yeah, very